Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to WWE NXT Takeover Wargames review. Guys, I have to say one thing. This show was a barn burner from beginning to end. This was non-stop, all around great action. I couldn't believe what we saw. I do apologize for making this video later than I said I would. I did say I was going to do this review Saturday night late, but unfortunately I tried watching it and I passed out to sleep while watching it because I kind of partied hard, worked a long week, and I just was so exhausted I just couldn't stay awake. I couldn't even keep my eyes open. As much as I wanted to watch it, I just couldn't. So I woke up this morning at 7 o'clock, and I watched the entire fucking show. And Matt Riddle versus Casasono started the show off with a matchup that was impromptu, and he just hit him with a knee, and that was the end of the match. It didn't even last but a few seconds. So nothing big there. But that wasn't even the point. I don't even care about Matt Riddle. That's not even my concern. The main card, the thing that was hyped up the most. We start off with Shayna Baszler defending the NXT Women's Championship against Kairi Sane. And I gotta tell you what, in the best out of three falls match. And I gotta tell you guys something. This match was fucking awesome. The action was great. The match was a little too short. I think the match could have gone on a little bit, like 5 minutes maybe. But whether that's the case or not, whether I'm in the right or wrong for saying that, doesn't really matter. Bottom line is this matchup was fantastic, as all their other matches they've had against each other. And I gotta tell you what, guys. We are going to see a 6-woman tag team matchup at the next Takeover show in January. I think that's what we need to see. The reason being is Dakota Kai got involved, and the also the other female wrestler who's a Japanese wrestler from the Mae Young Classic Finals competed in that, and she showed up at this event. I forgot her name, so please don't hound me or hate me for it, but she made an amazing debut on the show. Not like in-ring action from what I'm saying here, but you know what I mean. Her appearance at this event was outstanding. She climbed up to the top rope, did a moonsault, hit it perfectly, which once again, Charlotte, you may want to take some notes. You know, Charlotte, you like doing moonsaults pretending you're Shawn Michaels. Well, if you want to go ahead and do a moonsault, you want to go ahead and have it hit properly. So, that in itself was awesome. Shayna Baszler went ahead and picked up the final victory. Kairi Sane was going ahead and delivering an elbow drop, and Shayna Baszler anticipated it. She grabbed her, hoisted her over to the side, and got the 1-2-3 and got the victory, walking away still the NXT Women's Champion. Match number 2, Johnny Gargano versus Aleister Black. Now, I do remember stating that this match should have been on after the world title match. Well, of course, I figured that wasn't going to happen anyway. I don't think they're going to go anywhere around the realm of what I talked about with Johnny Gargano going back with Tommaso Ciampa and them forming their team back together, revealing that they actually were in cahoots with each other all along to help them elevate their careers. So that was just my overall idea that I thought would be pretty cool, eventually leading to them anyway going one-on-one at WrestleMania weekend in a Hell in a Cell match, which I still think is going to happen. I still think that can happen, but I really hope that's what they do. That would be a very cool and interesting idea, in my opinion. And Hell in a Cell has never happened at an NXT TakeOver event. So that would be pretty damn cool in itself, especially at a WrestleMania weekend. So, Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, fantastic matchup. This was like New Japan Wrestling meets WWE NXT. These guys were stiff-shotting each other, hard-hitting. This was just back and forth for like 20 minutes plus. These guys were killing each other with all the kicks, strikes, and everything else in between you can think of. Aleister Black even did a spinning back knee to Johnny Gargano's head, which was very impressive. Never seen that done before. You never see that in mixed martial arts, so there you go. Another thing to note, I loved Mauro Ranallo being back on commentating. I am so glad he's back from his little project he had to do to keep him away from NXT. He is a breath of fresh air. This guy gives you authentic commentating. You feel as if you are watching a real life event. This does not feel orchestrated or feel all kind of like, thrown at him to say this, this, and this. He naturally sounds like he's saying what he's saying on the microphone when he talks to the audience at home when they're watching the event. So I love that. I think that is fantastic. That is one of the reasons why NXT flourishes outside of the in-ring action. The commentating on the microphone by the commentators is a very important key to help the show be elevated as a whole. Something that WWE's main roster ought to think about doing. But of course they don't care about wrestling. It's an entertaining show. It's not a wrestling show. But what are they doing in the middle of the ring? I don't know. Just a bunch of bullshit. Who the fuck knows? Anyway, pretty much that's what it is bullshit. What you watched tonight or what I watched this morning was actual wrestling. This was a fucking event worth watching. So, I mean, Johnny Gargano, he looked like he was coming close to winning this matchup. Unfortunately, he did not. And he ended up losing from Black Mass straight to the kisser. And that was it. 1, 2, 3. Good matchup overall. Let me give you my stars. The matchup between Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, I give that a 3.5 out of 5 stars, mainly because I think the match was a little bit short, and it wasn't as fast-paced compared to the other matches, as well as the audience's reaction to it was good, but it was nothing compared to some of the other matches that were on the card. So that's the only reason why they got a 3.5. Not because of the in-ring wrestling ability. Wrestling ability overall was a 4.5. But overall, with the whole entire presentation of the match between the audience, the actual time of the match, and everything else, I honestly feel it deserves a 3.5. Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, this matchup was a 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely a very good matchup. The audience was even heavier pitched, and you could hear them fucking raising the volume on their voices as they watched this matchup. So they were even more entertained by this match than they were by the match before it. Then we get Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream coming out with the Hollywood Hulk Hogan NWO look, I thought was fucking unbelievable. He looked like he was trying to imitate Hulk Hogan, Macho. He also had the look, he was acting like Macho Man Randy Savage a little bit with the whole, with his hands like this, and he was circling around. He does a lot of imitations of different wrestlers rolled into one. I mean, like, I'll give you some prime examples. When he's on the microphone, I feel like I'm listening to The Rock as a different version of The Rock, in a sense. His clothing attire, very much like Shawn Michaels. He's just more feminine type of character that he plays on. Even kind of, I would say, escalating it even more in a feminist type of way, even though he's a male. On top of that, his in-ring wrestling moves are like Randy Savage. He also has a lot of moves like Shawn Michaels. He's got a lot of mixtures of great, talented legend wrestlers thrown into his character that just makes him stand out. And I think that's one of the major reasons why he is liked so much by the audience. And, so, bottom line, this was actually something that this matchup here was just outstanding. I really enjoyed everything about this matchup. The back and forth action that happened in this match was great. This match was a 4 out of 5 stars as well. Tommaso Ciampa proving once again he is one of the greatest heels right now in WWE. I don't know about overall in the entire wrestling industry, but he is playing a heel to the max. And I think he is doing an outstanding job as that heel. So pretty much how it all ended, the fucking Velveteen Dream. Actually, I should give this a 4.5 because the freaking in-ring action was just so damn close. There was so many different multiple pinfalls that occurred during this match. You didn't know who was going to win. Bottom line is you kind of got the idea that maybe Velveteen Dream was going to pull out the victory. That's how good this match was and how close it was. But at the end of the day, Tommaso Ciampa picked up the victory with a DDT on the outside of the ring by where this metal grating actually connects the two rings together for the upcoming Wargames match. And he dropped him right on his fucking head. And he rolled him over and pinned him 1, 2, 3. He also hurt his back in the process of doing that to Velveteen Dream. But bottom line is these guys went back and forth. Also, Tommaso Ciampa had an altercation with Mauro Ranallo for a moment. I guess because of the things he was saying on the microphone to the audience that were watching at home. And he must have overheard him because they were right next to each other by the commentary table. And he kind of flipped out on him and slapped him. I don't know if he slapped him on the shoulder or slapped him on the head or something. I'm not sure, but he really reacted in a very negative manner about the comments that were being said. Ronaldo was saying that he has a black heart. He doesn't care about anybody kind of attitude. And I guess Tommaso Ciampa didn't exactly like those comments that were being made about him, so he kind of reacted to it physically. But yeah, I mean, it almost cost him the match too because the Velveteen Dream did a Valley Driver type of move that you would see by Tommy Dreamer, not the pile driver, but like on the shoulders, flip and that type of thing. That's one of his signature maneuvers. And then he goes ahead, throws him in the ring, hits the elbow drop, the Purple Rain, I believe it's called, and then tries to get the 1, 2, 3, and Tommaso Ciampa somehow, some way kicked out. And right then and there, you knew he was going to win the match. Because Tommaso Ciampa got everything thrown at him but the kitchen sink by Velveteen Dream. And I'll tell you what, these two guys, they're definitely going to be something worth watching, I think, if they do another rematch between these two guys. But I don't see Tommaso Ciampa losing that title until the WrestleMania weekend. That's when I see him losing the belt. So very good match there. Then we go to the Wargames event. As I mentioned before about the Pete Dunne looking like he was injured, he was injured going into this match, and he fought through it. Fantastic. I'm glad they made him last person to come out of the cage, so that was a good thing. It didn't give him so much in-ring time, possibly injuring himself even more than probably what he's dealing with right now. It might be a strained knee injury or something of that kind of nature. I'm not sure. But he did not look like he was able to move around very well. So I guess they were playing it very safe with him, even though he was in a very dangerous match overall. But even though they restricted his time in the ring, the match itself fucking went on for about, I felt like I was watching this for an hour. And the funny part is, I'm just going to state this. This event was so damn good, it felt like it was too damn short. This event felt like it could go on for hours, man. It was that fucking good. So if you gave NXT TakeOver a 4-hour run, like Survivor Series is going to get tonight, you'd be wanting more. This show ended with 2 hours and 43 minutes. But bottom line is, guys, if you gave them 4 hours, the show would still be fucking successful. That's how good it was. And it felt like the show was short. I felt like I didn't even watch it that long. It was that entertaining. So, and it just made me want more. But I knew that the event was going on for 2 hours and 43 minutes. So, at the end of the day, you got to say to yourself, how much can they put into one match? Especially this one. Some of the highlights that I remember watching off of this matchup. The Tower of Doom. Adam Cole, this motherfucker, he went ahead and was dumped off the top of the cage. And when he landed, everybody was hurt. And he fucking lands flat on his back. He kind of shoots up a little bit, looks at the audience, and he looks like he's like, oh, fuck me. Boom. And he falls right on his fucking face, right back down on the mat. And I gotta tell you guys, that was the funniest fucking image ever. And before they did the Tower of Doom, to the last person that needed to show up for that Tower of Doom to do the powerbomb, while everyone did a suplex off the top rope, he had Bobby Fish Hansen, I think it was Hansen, or Rowan. Rowan had Bobby Fish on his back, arm wrapped around his neck, looking like he's trying to put him in a stranglehold, and he's acting like it has no fucking effect to him, and he's just carrying his ass like as if, you're coming with me, you're coming with me, asshole. He fucking put him up against the cage, powerbombed everyone, and that was, everybody landed on the fucking mat. It was fucking awesome. I mean, it was funny as hell. There was a bit of genius in this matchup, too, that I actually really liked. Undisputed Era was having a hard time trying to get a pinfall. So, they went ahead and decided, let's go ahead and do something out of the box. Which they did. They had Adam, before the Tower of Doom, Adam Cole climbed up to the top of the cage, acting as if he was gonna escape. Ricochet, being Ricochet, was like, I ain't accepting a victory like that. I want to get a pinfall or submission. So he climbs all the way up and meets Adam Cole at the top of the cage. As they're going ahead and exchanging blows, Adam Cole realizes, hey, I got him up here, and all I got to do is shove him down to the bottom outside the floor, and we win the match because he basically left the cage. Forfeit, we win. That was genius on his part. That was the most awesome fucking move as a heel you can possibly think of, and it wasn't that bad of a deal. To me, I didn't even see it as a heel-like tactic. It was just a smart move for him to go with because it's a way of winning. So, I mean, they weren't using chairs. Well, they did use chairs, actually. Once they got Bobby Fish in, who was the last person to go into the cage on Undisputed Era's team, he started throwing in chairs. But he wasn't using any chairs or doing anything dirty. He just scoping a person in to win a match. And I thought that was fucking genius. Nigel was saying the same thing. He was screaming it. That is genius. That is awesome. What the hell? You know, kind of thing. And I'm just like, you're 100% right, man. So, bottom line is, overall the action was great. There was another spot that they did with Ricochet that I thought he broke his neck. Literally. I thought he might have broke his neck. and he climbed up to the top of the cage again, and I thought he was just going to do a simple moonsault. You know, I mean, that would be the safest thing to do. I mean, I know he's an experienced wrestler doing high-flying moves, but never did I think he was going to do a 450 spin as if he's doing a moonsault off the top of the cage. He almost broke his fucking neck. If there wasn't somebody to stop him, like, I think it was, I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was Rowe who was actually in the way of him landing. If Rowe wasn't standing where he was, I believe that Ricochet would have landed on the mat and broke his fucking neck. The only thing he really hit was, I think, Rowe's shoulder, which, I mean, isn't the greatest spot to hit, but probably a lot better because I think it hit, like, right here and the bottom part of his neck. So it didn't really make his whole head, like, go crunch and get, you know, you get what I'm saying. But it avoided from him actually breaking his neck. If Rowe wasn't in the way of that, he would have broke his neck, guaranteed, and the show would have stopped. So thank God for Rowe being in the right spot at the right time, because if he wouldn't have, Ricochet probably would have had a career-ending injury, because it looked pretty fucking bad. Just the way he landed on Rowe was pretty bad, but not bad enough where it would have ended his career or gave him a broken neck, thank God. But man, what a fucking finish to this match. We got tables, we got chairs. We didn't get ladders, but hey, we don't need ladders in this matchup. This is not a tables, ladders, and chairs match, so that doesn't work in this match. But there was another thing that stood out to me that was fucking beautiful that they never did in the first one. I have to say one thing. Wargames 2018's match compared to Wargames 2018's match, not the overall presentation of the shows, but the actual match itself, the Wargames match, 2018 outdid 2017's Wargames. One, I like the idea of the 4-on-4 team deal, of the two teams going up against each other instead of three teams. It makes things a lot more complicated and a little bit more difficult to follow in some cases. But this was the right way to go. I like the way they did this. I think that going with the 4-on-4 matchup was beautiful. I didn't see that ever happen in WCW, which was something maybe WCW should have done to make this match a little bit more simplistic, make more sense of it. But bottom line is, guys, this matchup was a fantastic match, thrown all together, and it was done picture perfect. And before they came to the finish, they had a storyline type image given to you. You couldn't get this any better the way they had it. Here's how it looked. Undisputed Era was in one ring. The War Raiders, Pete Dunne and Ricochet were in the other ring, and they all came to the ropes of those rings. And they started barking at each other, shooting the shit to each other back and forth. A lot of smack and all that shit. And then they came in between the ropes and stood where the two rings were connected. And they were talking more shit. And then they fucking beat the hell out of each other. And the one thing that came out of this, what I'm trying to get at is, they painted a picture that this was war. This is what they were trying to prove. The battle lines were drawn. That middle grader was the battle line. Whoever came up with this portion of this match, I have to say one thing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving us a story within a match. It wasn't just a bunch of good action and shit. There was a story being told within the match. And I think that is very, very uncommon to see in professional wrestling these days. And you don't see it happen too often. And in this matchup, you did. Fucking unbelievable match. Loved it. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Unbelievable action all around. Great job, NXT. thank you very much for 3 solid hours of good action. And my God, I hope Survivor Series can even come close to this. In any way, shape, or form. I don't care. Just give me 4 hours of decent action and I'll be fucking happy with that. NXT gave me 2.5 to 3 hours of great action. Now come on, WWE, can you at least give us 4 hours of decent action where we're not going to fall asleep in our chairs? Please do that for us, because if NXT keeps beating your ass, it doesn't say much about you guys at all. You can't even compete with NXT, then you got serious problems. Anyway, guys, hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below what you guys thought about this show, because I don't expect to hear anything but the same thing I said. This show is fucking awesome. Anyway, guys, gotta go. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.